Ladies and gentlemen, I am Billy Alexander, and I'm welcoming you to the newest edition of The Run-In, right here on Heel Turn's YouTube page. Oh, this thing? Yeah. I'm here to, this is what my job gave me as a face mask. Thursday, when we got paid, they gave us this cloth, orange for management and blue for crew, and expect that this is going to help us. This was a political stunt ploy to show everybody that they jumped on board. Anyway, don't care. Bill Alexander here for Heel Turn's YouTube page. Welcome to the newest edition of the Run-In. Yeah, it's one of these two sides. I'll get it right one time. Anyway, guys, for those of you who've been on the show the last couple of times and everything else, you understand that this is a 10-minute run right in, slap you in the face a little bit with a little bit of wrestling knowledge and everything out there, and some of the news and stuff that we talk about today. Real quick, and it's gone. It's just 1, 2, 3, boom, gone. Just like that. This is an interactive show. Please leave your comments and everything else, and we'll address them on the next show. For those of you who have been here before, welcome back to another episode. Let's get this rolling. Today. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, God. It's pretty good. Anyway, today is the 20th anniversary of David Arquette winning the WCW Heavyweight Championship of the World 20 years ago. Can you imagine? Just think about it. 20 years ago, one of the biggest stars in horror movie and some comedies, everything else, would show up and win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. A Hollywood star 20 years ago. And he won it by beating Eric Bischoff. Now, we all know that this has Vince Russo written all over it, but it worked out in the long run for everybody. See, here's the thing. 20 years ago today, man, that WCW was like that fresh new drug on the street. And everybody just takes so much of it because they have a really good time. It's fun and everything is so bright and vibrant and everything else. And then you roll into a rut and you start falling off. And then you realize that your rainbow ride over in the Peachtree car has started to sail. When you see David Arquette show up in WCW and win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship 20 years ago today. But here's the thing. A lot of people don't know about this here. DDP did an interview recently and he talked about this. David Arquette didn't want to win the title when he was in WCW. He literally was against the whole thing the whole entire time. But, things happen and money talks and, David Arquette won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Vince Russo wrote it all. It was a good ride to hell and back again, and it worked everywhere because he may not have wanted to win that title, but when he did, he donated all of his WCW money. Everything he ever earned from WCW, he gave away. He never even kept any of it. He gave money to Darren Drozdoff. He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. He gave it to Owen Hart and Brian Pillman's family. So, did we get something that we didn't expect in the world of wrestling 20 years ago? You're goddamn right we did. Did we see this person that this happened to give everything over to those three families? No. And so it worked out in the long run for everybody, all included. But David Arquette, WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Man, that just, God dang. That's wow. Now, I told you guys when I got more information about the firings of Wilson and Barrios. We talked about it on the website. I've talked about it on a few of my shows. Well, there's been recent documents that have been released, like literally been released to the public. And they found out that they were given, inside their goodbye papers, as you would call them, pink slips, there was some very distinctive writing. Now, some of this I'd have to read off my phone because I didn't want to write it all down. So let me pull it up. We'll get to it right here. And 1, 2. All right, so here's the deal. So they got this lucrative contract signed that stated that they were going to be paid in what is called discretionary bonus payments. Now, there's a big clause inside these contracts for these two. So they signed this deal, and it's during what they call salary continuation period. So for 18 months, which started the week after they were fired, so January 30th they were fired, week later it starts this 18-month period that they call salary continuation period. And the words state, you agree to notify WWE within 5 days, business days now, if you accept an offer of employment and or intend to start or take an ownership interest in a business, whether alone or with others. In the event you accept any offer of employment, the written notice shall identify the name and location of the new employer, your job title, and the nature of your duties. So these guys get fired over some, what we talked about to be some corporate shading shit that happened, and they had to find a scapegoat, and it was these two. This shows you in this deal here. I mean, this is... Anyway, so during that time, then it goes on to say, salary and benefit continuation after the termination date and 7 days following your acceptance and execution of this agreement within which you have not revoked that acceptance. And after confirmation that you have returned any and all WWE-owned property to Human Resources, you will be paid 18 months of your base salary on a bi-weekly basis. As of the termination date, less applicable withholdings and deductions in accordance with WWE's regular payroll procedures and dates. Salary continuation period. During that portion of salary continuation period, you remain eligible for and on the condition that you timely elect group health insurance coverage continuation pursuant to COBRA. WWE shall pay the portion of your COBRA premium in the same percentage as it is paid towards your health insurance. Employee benefits shall cease immediately as of your termination date. So, I mean, that's a pretty extensive deal there, man. Like, you're going to get this pay with all this, right? And then you must say this if you take whatever. So they get all this deal. And it was something that some say was a little over the top, and some are saying it's probably right about right. Because these two guys were with WWE for many of years, and they helped WWE during some real transformations. But I talked about it before, that there is all this stuff that starts at the top and dwindles all the way down. Unfortunately, these were the two that took the fall. I'm sure more will come out of this sometime down the line as well. The Finker, rest in peace, recently passed not too long ago, and there was some news that was reported that sometimes the Fink just wasn't treated all that great backstage of WWE. The Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting that years ago, when the WCW invasion had started, the Howard Finkel was part of a storyline to where he was supposed to take a slap across the face from a female talent of the WCW roster that was coming in. And when it went to happen, he flinched. And so he ended up in this thing called Wrestler's Court. Now, it does not exist to this day, but back in the day, they had this thing called Wrestler's Court where The Undertaker was the judge and everything else. It was something that was kind of like a big ordeal. Like, hey, you fucked up. This is how we're gonna make you pay for it. It happened twice, actually, where he was to be slapped and he flinched again. And that's just because he's not a wrestler. He's not a performer. He's a ring announcer that was able to live some of his dreams while he was in WWE and do some things he probably never thought he could do in his life, and that was really cool. But other than that, and everything, right? So one of the vets came out and said, I'm getting blown up here by you guys. Jesus Christ, what I'm working for. That one of the vets said that it was one of the most immature and cruel things he had ever seen in a business. That's some shit, man. Back in the day, I'm sure there was a lot of shit like that that happened. But speaking of backstage issues and everything else, Sami Zayn has not been on SmackDown and everything else, even though he is the current Intercontinental Champion. Sami Zayn is a pain in the fucking ass, and nobody can deal with him. He's been an issue to the writing team, to the directive team, and everything else. He's always stirring the pot, they say, and always trying to cause issues inside and outside of the locker room and all that as well. I couldn't imagine having to deal with Sami Zayn. He seems like one of the guys that's kind of off the rail anyway when it comes to having some fun and all that. And that's probably all that is, but who knows? So, guys, that's the run-in. That's it. In, out, gone. See you later. It's already 12 minutes long. We've already passed our time. Bye.